everyone. So this whole week we were talking about building muscle, but also keeping your joints feeling really good. And I had a question about resistance bands, right? Are they good? Do they help prime and do things to my stabilizer muscles to avoid injury or to improve my lifts? And the answer is yes, right? How exactly and what you want to include in there, I'm going to share in this video right now. So the great thing about resistance bands, I love them because as you get stronger throughout the movement, you get more resistance, and it hits a lot of the stabilizer muscles, which are the smaller muscle groups within your joints that sometimes get overlooked through bigger lifts like the bench press or the overhead press or the bigger type movements that use the larger muscle group. So these, what I'm going to show you is 4 different exercises. I'm going to try and keep them as quick as I possibly can that I use before every single kind of upper body movement within my warm-up. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to wake up all of the muscle groups, get all of the muscle fibers and the neurons and all that good stuff firing before I do my bigger lifts. Trying to drive a lot of blood into that area. It sounds weird and gross, like almost getting like a pump, so that it's protecting and cushioning my joints, as well as I'm getting a lot of the stuff that I need to produce movement, right? And then from there, I'm making sure that I'm keeping my stabilizer muscles strong so that I can avoid injury later. So the first thing, the most basic thing you're gonna start with is one of these little bands. You can also use the old school ones with the handles, not a big deal. But you're gonna do a band pull apart, so keeping my arms straight, I'm gonna pull the band to my chest, bringing it back. Now when you use resistance bands, right, I do want you to still focus on your tempo. So I'm pulling it back on 2, bringing it back on 1. Pulling it back on 2, bringing it back on 1. And then I want to do a lot of reps as well, right, volume. And I'm really trying to wake those muscle groups up. It's not super heavy. I'm using the smaller muscle groups. And I want to do anywhere from 15 to 20 reps at this tempo. And by then, right, I already feel it start to burn. Maybe even start to feel kind of tight because once again, we're trying to drive blood and nutrients into that joint. Then from there, what I'm going to do is, you can't see my feet, but I'm going to step one foot into the band, and then I'm going to do an upright raise or a front raise. So I'm going to keep my thumbs up. I'm going to pull straight up, little tiny bend in my elbows. Once again, bring them down slow. So up, hands come to shoulder height. Boom. Once again, I'm doing about 15 to 20 of these. Then from there, I'll put 2 feet in the band. I'm going to cross it like an hourglass, and I'm going to do an upright row movement. So elbows are coming up high. I'm shrugging just slightly, bringing it back down slow. Wrists are always going to be underneath or lower than my elbow height. And the last one, and one of the most important ones. So if you're going to only do 2 of them, I would do the band pull aparts, and I would do the one I'm about to show you. Because a lot of times, these muscle groups get overlooked, and we can have some discomfort within our shoulder, and all it really is that our external rotators are weak. So when you're starting to do this movement, you're starting to learn it for the first time, or you either use a towel, this is a rolled up t-shirt, whatever you got, to pinch between your elbow and your ribs. I'm going to keep my arm at 90 degrees, and then from here I'm going to have to attach my resistance band to something, whether it's a rack, a chair, a doorknob, and then I'm going to grab my band, right, keeping my elbow at 90 degrees, core nice and tight, and I'm going to rotate out, okay? You might not have this big of a range of motion. It's a very small range of motion. Once again, I'm controlling it, trying to do about 15 to 20 repetitions. And believe me, you're going to start to feel that, okay? A lot of times, like I said, those external rotators get overlooked. And then just to be safe, right, to make sure that I'm hitting both movements, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to now pull in, right? So just imagine I'm doing that on the same side. So instead of pulling out, I'm pulling the band towards me just to make sure that joint's nice and balanced. So hope that helps. Add it into your upper body routine. Let me know how that feels, or into your warm-up, right? Because we want to keep your joints safe. We want to keep them strong. We definitely want to address those stabilizer muscles so that all those great things can happen. Hope that helps. Once again, any questions, comments, you want something answered, let me know. I'd love to answer, and I'll talk to you guys soon.